Just two.
Just two today, not three.
Yeah, because the third camera really helps out when you have a full table.
Yeah, that third camera was very useful.
So I want to get another one of these, but these are fucking grand.
Oh,
so
okay. So not cheap.
Yeah, and I could get two more.
Yeah.
And then I have two more slots on there. I almost said the wrong word. Slots. Two more slots.
Slots.
I need to pronunciate.
Two more slots.
All right, let me make sure the.
Are we live? Are you gonna?
I think we're live.
Throw it on the gram or something like that.
We're ready to go. We're all set.
I have 0 reception inside this establishment now.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Is that on purpose? People can't call for help in here. Is that the idea?
Well, I just recently got. You're recording now. I just recently got good internet here.
Yep.
And so before, when we would do like a podcast, we were streaming it. Like it would drop a lot of frames because it wasn't uploading, and we couldn't upload at the quality that we were trying to upload at. So when you get a bunch of people on here and everybody's on the Wi-Fi and shit, then it becomes a lot more complicated to basically have it all showing. So
Yep.
you can sit down over there.
Yeah, I didn't know you were.
Yeah, okay. Turn that.
So
Well, don't break anything.
yeah, so we got good internet now, and it's slowly coming together. You know, with the stuff. I need to get more lights. Like I'm trying to learn how to put the lights in the right area, so you have a much nicer. You know how like YouTube videos, how like you see like these guys will set it all up, and the lighting makes the video palatable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's kind of the vibe. Is you want it to have a vibe in here.
So. I would agree. Do you think like the paint makes any difference with the lighting? I mean,
I'm sure it does.
I don't think you're going to repaint it.
No.
Means, but.
Well, I didn't really think about that. I just thought about it like, I know I like gray, so I figured I'll just paint everything gray and just do one. But I think that the gray actually helps with the reflection. So if there was like white walls or some shit like that, it would probably have more glares. So I think the gray helps. Maybe. I don't know.
I could see that.
It makes sense. Seems right. Maybe.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. It does make sense. So we're good.
So
cool, man. So we're on, right?
So last time you were here, we were just downstairs on like a table.
We were downstairs. It was dirty. I think we were just sitting on 2 stools, right?
Yeah.
Like on your like little like workbench that came out from the wall.
Yeah.
And things have changed.
And you flew in town for that shit.
I did.
Now it feels like it's worth a flight.
Now,
yeah.
Like this makes sense, right?
Yeah,
well,
but
it's awesome, man.
The other thing we're trying to do in here is over time, fill it up with like how I've been putting the pictures up. Just fill it up with like relevant things that's been going on with us in the industry for since we've been a part of it. That way, when people come in here, like, oh, that's a cool picture, you guys, and you know, like that's something I painted in 2007. It's the only piece of art I have from my early career.
See, that's really cool.
So
that's really cool.
First magazine shoot of that first helmet. It was that's in Dice magazine right now. That picture. Yep. So those type of things.
The FXR picture, very famous picture of Mr. Hudson himself
with the duct tape on the axle.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to mention that. I didn't see it.
I want people to know I'm a badass. I rode like that.
No, it's cool, man. The shop really has come a long way.
Yeah. I want a mini ramp, like a skateboard mini ramp in here.
Oh, wow. So you want to go like real big.
Full Fantasy Factory, dude. But I want to be able to drop in from up here.
Wow.
And just have one tall drop in, and then it's like a 4-foot ramp on the other end. That's probably not a good idea.
You'd have to move the couch.
No, I want to drop in from like right here. So I'd have to make
go that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Are you going to work on motorcycles anymore?
I don't know, man. That's just not that cool anymore.
Just skateboard and podcast. That's fine.
Well, so we started clearing out the floor down there because on this one wall, like I can actually put a sheet down and have like a more of a studio for shooting things.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the goal is to, if the photography thing continues to go somewhere, then I have the space to do some type of studio shooting in. Okay. And so we've been, lighting, investing and all that shit. I'm like, I just want to have it, basically. God damn, everybody's calling.
Today is a busy day. If you ever needed a secretary, today would probably be a good day.
Yeah.
To have someone managing that for you.
So last time you guys were here, $15 an hour?
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah.
You can pay that. Right? You can pay that.
Maybe.
So last time, last year, May May time frame.
May, yeah.
Right.
It was before we went on that trip behind you. Yeah.
Yep.
And I didn't, man. I'll be honest with you. Like before, I think Albie reached out to me, and
He did.
And we're probably talked about this in the first podcast, but I've never been a guy that really wore headsets. It just never really dawned on me, you know. Now it's kind of like part of the like. I don't really do a lot of talking. I don't really talk on it much, but I love the fact that like listening to podcasts, listening to music, all that type of shit. Taking a call if I need to, but like. One thing I don't do is I don't like connecting with other people while I ride because I feel like we should be able to save the conversation for the gas stop so we're not just staring at each other. It's kind of like a relationship. When you talk all day on the phone and then you get home, you're like nothing to talk about. Like works for guys too.
Yeah, I agree. It's been interesting watching the industry and like the average rider evolve over the past few years, and so the V-twin scene itself has started to slowly adopt full-face helmets. And then with that, it only made sense that eventually they would go to an Intercom system. So, and like you mentioned, what do people want it for? People want to be able to listen to music, right? They want to be able to hear their GPS and then take that phone call if they need to. Not all the time, but just if they need to.
Yeah.
And so we feel like we do that really well. That's what we kind of honed in on, was that sound quality aspect, the battery life aspect of it, and then a fair price point.
Sorry, this carbonated water.
You're good, man. I'm going to do it too. So,
well, that's the other good thing about it is the battery life, because like we went on the Florida trip, charged it up. The whole trip there and back, I didn't have to charge it. Now, of course, that is not like continuous music playing for 3 or 4 days straight. That is like a 2-hour rip.
But you know what? That's how the average consumer uses it.
Exactly.
Right? Like you use it for a little while and then maybe you turn it off for a little bit or what have you. But if you do run a continuous, it's still a very large battery. It'll still last for a very long time. But the average user, it'll last you days.
Yeah, exactly.
Days, easy.
Dude, I honestly, on the FT4 Pros, like, I never turn it off. I feel like turning it on and off, like, kills the battery faster.
You should turn it off.
Okay.
You will get even more battery life out of it.
Oh, for real?
You can imagine.
All right.
Yeah.
It's just a thought.
It's not that. It's not a negative thing to do by any means, but, I mean, it is a battery. But when it is not in use, very, very, very little draw on it. So, yeah. So, you're right. In theory, if you were at gas stops or you stopped for lunch or something like that and you forgot to turn it off, it's not going to drain all the battery out of it. So
like last year, 2019 in Sturgis, you guys pretty much set up and you had like a little, like, looked like you sold keychains, how small the tent was. And then
it was a small tent. Yeah.
And then just in a year, like that explosion from that small tent to like a full, 20 by 20 kind of vibe this year. And then I think you got lucky this year because the storm blew down somebody else.
Well, yeah, that's a silver lining. That's a good way to look at it. You call it lucky. We did not think it was so lucky at the first sighting of it when the storm blew it down. But, yeah, we had some of the inclement weather in the beginning of Sturgis did some damage to our easy up. So they moved us into a 20 by 20
on
down.
The corner.
Yeah, towards towards the corner. And so that was really nice of them, and it worked out really well. But if anyone went to Sturgis this year, you knew that, like, there was bad weather this year in Sturgis. It was just bad all around.
It was waves of it. Like, every night, I felt like we had one good storm that just passed through.
We had storm damage 3 times in the 9-day period. It, like, smoked a whole 10 by 10 easy up, or a 10 by 20 easy up on us. Did some product damage. It was just.
What do you think the vibe's been like from like that time to this year? Like, as far as like the people that are coming up to you versus like, are there more people that are walking up to the booth going, "Hey man, I've heard a lot about your product," versus like, "Hey, who the hell are y'all?"
So from
2019 to 2020,
2019 Sturgis, 2020 Sturgis, I think our approach to 2020 as a whole really helped us be seen and be heard a lot more. So when it came to Sturgis 2020, people were excited to see us out there.
Yeah.
As a brand that was still actively doing everything we could to support the industry and to meet with consumers and just talk with people one-on-one and help them put a face to that brand.
Yeah.
So we had a great time. We love going out and interacting with the public. We love going out and going to shows, and whether we're selling at those shows or we're just hanging out, and we're just coming and bringing some T-shirts and tossing them to the crowd. We like going out there and letting people know that we care about the industry, that we are people that are actively a part of the industry. We all ride. We all go to those events. And so whether we're there to sell or not, we always have a good time.
Yeah, like I said, we were hanging out, 2 months ago in Brooklyn?
Yep.
You know,
just hanging out.
Drinking White Claws, which I had one.
That's true. You did drink a White Claw.
Yeah,
we have pictures of it.
Wasn't happy.
It was kind of like this.
Yeah.
They're said to have alcohol in them.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, man, it's actually been a learning experience for me as well. Like watching you guys and how you've put your product to the market out there, like how you, like you support dealers and you push the dealer program, but you also support for lack of a better term, the brand ambassador programs and pushing and letting the people that actually are out there creating the content push the products too. Yeah. And I feel like it makes it opens the door for a lot of people wanting free shit because they had 1,000 followers probably.
Not going to deny that. Yeah.
But at the same time, it does support the people that are out there putting out content and do have some type of influence, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you walk into a dealership, Jace Hudson walks into a dealership and you ask the salesman his opinion on product A and product B, he's going to give you his opinions, right? And you're going to take it with a grain of salt because we have been ingrained that it's not as valuable to receive that from someone that works in that business versus someone that doesn't have a stake in it online, right? So if I go to Jace and I ask him about tires, Jace Hudson does not get paid by any of the tire people. He is not making a profit if he tells me to go out and buy brand A versus brand B. So for you to tell me what brand you like is a lot more important to me than just hearing it from a salesman.
The weird thing about like people asking me what I like or what I use, they always say, "Do you like it?" And my thing is, the asshole in me comes out. It's like, yeah, dude, that's why I'm running it. Like, I hey man, how do you like those handlebars? They seem to be the same ones on your bike for the last 3 years. I'm like, apparently I like them, dude. Like, this how we're gonna start this conversation? But no, I get that a lot. Like, hey man, how do you like that? I was like, man, I every helmet that I have has one on it, and you've seen you can scroll back for almost 2 years now and see them on us using them. Like, they must work, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I get it. Like, that's probably a easy question to ask someone. Like, hey man, how do you like that?
Well, I think people don't know really what question to lead in with, right? Because it does seem it's very rhetorical, right? Like, how do you like it? I've been using it for so many years. Obviously, I don't have any big problems with it at the very least.
When I first got on them, like when I first started using it, a lot of my friends here that did have other Cenas and stuff, I used them to bounce off of, like, hey man, try this thing and just let me know. Is it louder? Does it sound better? Do you have more battery life? And the consensus from everybody who was running the Cenas was like, yeah, man, like I can hear a podcast now. You know, and some of that to me, I found out is like how you set it up in your helmet. Like they come with the spacers.
Yep, spacers definitely help.
Dude, fucking puts it right there.
Yeah, if you obviously the closer you can bring them, and then having them centered. So we recommend to tell people to like use some painter's tape and put your helmet on, and then adjust the volume up and down to kind of get a feel for where it is, if it's too far back or if it's too far forwards. If you do that and get those really centered and then bring them closer in, not pressure on your ears, but close enough to as close to your ears as you can, without like applying pressure to your ears. I mean, so you'll never have to run at max volume.
The whole concept of it put me down a rabbit hole to where I've even talked with Simpson and trying to find out what is it that really causes noise in helmets or wind noise and things like that. And talking with Scott from Simpson, you know, it illuminated a lot of different types of reasons why some helmets are louder than others. Like most like showies and the more sport bike centric helmets are way more lined out to where they're harder to put on and off, right?
That's very true.
And so those type of inconveniences that some people might consider that is what kills the noise going down, you know, versus like you want a helmet you can rip off real quick because you're going bar to bar or riding or whatever the case may be. You're not going to have this fucking like condom sleeve that you got to put your head into.
Yeah, but that, oh man, those reduce so much noise. There used to be companies that would make like almost like a universal one.
That you can just throw on the helmet.
You could put on any type of helmet. And it was so awesome, especially like in the winter time. one of the like cheap full face helmets I had in my early years. I barely ever used, but I used it in winter. I found one of those like universal fit, like neck sleeves for it. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. But like you said, it is slightly inconveniencing to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of those helmets that are cut closer, that are tighter, that push on your cheeks, that you feel like are almost too tight. They're so quiet.
And I feel like you know, because I've ridden Shoeies and Arise and Sumi or Suami. I don't know how they used to pronounce that. I used to love those helmets. They had the best graphics. Like some of my favorite painters were the guys that did a lot of the graphics for those helmets. And you know, riding sport bikes was a different position. You know what I mean? Like you were going down the road, like more leaned over, you know, heads up. So you, and now on a Harley, you're this. So you know, your helmet becomes like a fucking sail.
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean? So you're catching more wind.
Yep.
And that to me, still being able to hear my Lex, hear a podcast, you know, like I listen to, I think I listened to which I love is like I can listen to a 2-hour Rogan podcast between gas stops. You know what I mean?
That's perfect.
On a trip. So it's like, you know, it kind of occupies your mind while you're riding. So you're not like constantly looking at GPS going, damn, another 30 miles, another 20 miles, blah, blah, blah. So it helps pass time, but still you're focused on riding. You know what I mean?
It's awesome, man. Once you get a good intercom system that you can hear everything, that the battery life works well, that you can use like the phone call application on it, and it works well, it just changes the whole riding experience. It really does. And then you'll find most people after they get to that point, they'll tell you that they'll never ride without it because it just doesn't make sense to them.
Yeah.
Or you'll hear guys that have $10,000 audio systems on baggers. And they're like, man, I don't even need this thing anymore. It's all inside my helmet.
I try to tell them all the time. I'm like, look, I don't want to hear
This
your music.
is your line.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that shit. Like it's the dude was nice, but on the down south camp out, this one of the guys that came from Arkansas with like Tony and all the guys from up there. Oh. Super cool dude, but he was playing his music a lot.
Standing on his seat.
Not quite.
Okay, right.
But
wasn't that far.
The funny. I hope he doesn't take this the wrong way because I'm a shit talker, but it's all love.
This is true.
It was funny because every light we came to, he'd pull up next to one of the other bikes. His music would be loud, and he'd be staring at him, like waiting to make eye contact to acknowledge I hear your stereo. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, like just buy a helmet, get it painted. Doesn't have to be by me, but just invest in a helmet, right? Which
I would say
brings me to another complaint of mine. Hey man, how's those cheaper like Speed Bandits? Like how are they? I'm like, well, I prefer the Ghost Bandit. Yeah, but how's the Speed Bandit? I'm like, it's fine if you know if you can only afford a $300 helmet, I get it, right?
Yeah. But
you're also on a bagger.
Yeah, exactly. You're already on a $25,000 platform.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's an economical option for a helmet. Simpson.
I think it's probably a good
helmet,
to lube the slide from people that don't wear helmets into wearing helmets.
And that's very important. And it's the same thing with like intercom systems, right? Like Simpson came out with the Speed Bandit. It's an economical, maybe first time full face helmet user. They can stomach spending that much on it before they know if they're really going to enjoy wearing it, right? Same thing with an intercom system. We didn't want to come in at a really high price point because how are you going to reach those people that have never used one before? Can you really convince them to spend $300-$400 on it, and they don't even know if they're going to want to use it, right? Because they never have. So to give them that option and be able to get into it at a reasonable price point,
I mean that makes sense. Yeah, 100%.
You know, so I mean, you get someone to wear that Speed Bandit. The first helmet I had was. The first like real full face helmet I had was an M30, right? Not cut for the wind. It's not cut for anything except looking cool. It looks really cool standing still. That's about it.
It's like a dirt bike style helmet.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I really do like that helmet a lot. But it's not good in the wind. It's not good over like 45 miles an hour. But
I think that's their chopper helmet.
It's no, that's the M50.
M50 is
the M50 is like the really retro like. Really open section.
Like you would wear goggles kind of thing.
Exactly,
over it.
yeah. The M30 still has a shield on it.
Okay.
But it has that like that squared off. It has like the vents in the front of it.
That's right.
Yeah. So I fell in love with the idea of wearing a full face helmet with that. And so then once I got comfortable wearing with that, I had no problem spending more money on anything.
So in that aspect, I can get it. You know, I just, like I said, I'm kind of a bully when it comes to that type of shit. I'm like, dude, 2 nights at the bar, you can buy a helmet.
This is
I
true.
mean, come on, man. Like, out here buying shots for everybody. Like, you can save that,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know, and buy a helmet, a good one. But no, but that also plays like to you guys because you're making a universal system that goes on all these different types of helmets, which then also plays to the part where like you get the shitty or the best end of the stick based on what helmet they're putting it in. They put it in an M30 or M50, whatever, and it's like very bare bones helmet.
That's true.
Where they're like catching straight wind to the face, like it's gonna compete with the sound quality.
It's true. Well, luckily, they're so loud that they can still come across very loud, even in like the noisier helmets.
You ever notice that like it feels like if you just wear like a 3/4 helmet, it seems less noisy than if you wear a shitty full face helmet?
I think some of the noise gets trapped inside like a shitty full face helmet. Honestly, like I had some junk helmet, some junk full face helmet that I wore like half a dozen times, and then I got my M30, and so the M30, it's not quiet by any means, but it wasn't like painfully loud.
Yeah.
But then like I moved on to an Outlaw, and then I got a Ghost after that. So I mean, it only got better from there. Yeah, I could kind of see that though. A 3/4 helmet, you get some noise from it, but inside a full face, I mean, you're enclosed in there.
Yeah, it's more of it can echo inside there. Yeah. So the new, is it the G16?
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember they were coming out with an 8, but that one got shelved for a while.
So this is the G16.
Yeah.
Here we have it here. Very long way. We can bring it a little bit closer. How's that look? I can't see from why I'm trying to look. Does it look good?
Different. Here.
You can just hold it up for us.
Yeah.
So the G16 is being released this Black Friday next week. A redesign from the FT4 Pro. A couple big things that you're going to notice is that the jog wheel is gone. We have all push button styles in there. We have Type-C audio jack in there. We also have a dedicated headlamp button on the back.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And
So real quick, the Type-C audio, because that's, the Type-C is kind of like for people that don't use Apple, is the shit.
Yep. Yeah.
The Type-C audio, what does that, is it more to where you can just basically have one port for multifunction?
So no, there is still a separate charging port.
Okay.
There is still a separate charging port on the bottom. However, the Type-C audio jack will ensure that when you seat it in there, it is seated properly, no questions asked. You'll get great sound transfer, great connectivity to it as well. It's just the cutting edge. It's the best of the best if you're going to use a connector style. So we went with that.
Yeah, that's
over
how
like the 3.5 millimeter audio jacks.
And yeah, I see it.
So your charging port on the bottom, which is pretty cool.
It's kind of like the design of it's a little bit more sleek.
It is. So we got away from like that wave that's, that is the FT4, the FT4 lineup. What I personally really enjoy about it is that it's super easy to change tracks. Comes in just as clear. It sits a little bit closer to the helmet. And it's going to come with 3 different mounting configurations for it. So the one that you see on this helmet right now is kind of the universal fit-all style helmets, squeeze clamp design. And then we'll have a 3M adhesive one, which will bring it right against the helmet.
Yeah.
And then we'll have another clamp style with a quick disconnect on it as well, which will also bring it up. But we went with 3 different styles, so we were sure that everyone, no matter if it's a ADV rider, a street bike rider, Z1R, a Shoei, a Bell, a Simpson, whatever you may have, and all of the boutique style brands in between, it'll fit it very well.
Yeah.
So, and then tech-wise, we went to a 16-rider intercom system in there.
Yeah, and this one's more geared towards the mesh technology that you.
So
right?
group riding.
Group riding.
So it's focused around the group rider. We wanted to bring something to the market that if your whole club or your whole group of friends everyone wanted to get intercoms at the same time, because you guys were going on a big trip, you wouldn't have to break the bank doing that. So you look at some of the other traditional setups, you'd be looking at a lot of money to try to get like 8, 10
8 of
people.
you might be looking at $2,500, $3,000 maybe. Some areas.
I mean, 3 times 8 is 24. So so you think about that. So we wanted to bring it in to the market and be able to hit those points and reach those people that really need something more than 4. The FT4 was Fast Talk 4. It was for 4 people, 4-rider intercom system. And that does really well for the average rider. Like you said in the beginning, the average rider doesn't want to be linked up with 10 people all the time. And if you ever talked with 10 people on a radio, it's terrible. It's so hard to talk to that many people.
Xbox Live.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's a good point. It's so hard to talk to that many people.
it made it pop in my head. So right now on Netflix, there's that new Kevin Hart special. Did you watch it yet?
No, not yet.
Dude,
Don't spoil it.
I have to. This one spoiler, it's just relative. It was he was talking about like men's group chats, right? Are you in any group chats with like anybody in the bike world?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm in a million of them, right? And it's a good bit. Go watch it. You'll get what I'm saying if you're in a group chat, because basically, same thing I feel like would happen here. It's like you start, hey man, everybody good on gas, and then someone yells at, dude, you see that car?
Yep.
Oh man, look at that billboard over there. It's just like a bunch of people yelling squirrel all the time,
Yep.
and that's pretty much what a group chat is for men.
It's hard. There's pros and cons to those group chats.
Yeah.
I enjoy them. I enjoy being able to talk amongst that whole group, or being able to like poll an audience of like-minded people. But like you said, you get all these sidebars, and then if you don't pay attention to it, you just pop in and you have no idea what the heck's going on.
Our main group chat, the worst part is, hey, we're meeting at Strokers at 12. Two comments down. What time are we gonna be there? 3 comments down. Where at? And it's like nobody looks up. They're like, just fuck it. Just I'll deal with this. It's or hey, what do you guys want to do this weekend? And then like one dude says, I'm down to go do so and so, and then one dude's like, hey, you guys see this new AR that just came out? And then
like,
now
what
it's
are
a
you
fucking
talking
45-minute gun talk, and it's
Yeah.
like, are we still going out?
The crosstalk is really annoying. Yeah. I know what you're saying about that. Everyone's having this one conversation, and someone strolls in with their thoughts on a completely different subject.
Yeah,
And you're
exactly.
Like, what the hell's going on right now?
It's just frustrating because now you got to like, hopefully, what are those things where people used to go top or something like that on a comment thread to get their shit back to the top or get back to the bump? Yeah,
Bump.
something like that. Yep. It's like, just start putting that in the chat. Go with that. I don't know. It's a mess.
I told one of my group chats that we were gonna like pass around a conch shell, like Lord of the Flies. Did you read that book in school?
I
You
don't
couldn't
think
talk
so.
unless you had this.
Oh.
You should have read it. You couldn't talk unless you had this conch shell.
Yeah.
Right? I'm gonna start passing around like a metaphorical one in our group chat because it gets so insane.
It's a crazy one. And it feels like what happens is every time someone does something like they create a group chat to kind of be able to talk to those people that are about to go on this ride together, and then that ride they go, but then they add people that they met on the ride or was at the. So next thing you know, it's just a new chat that has stemmed from one chat. Now there's 8 new ones. It's so weird how chat rooms. Remember, chat rooms were the shit in the early 2000s. Like everybody had like their own online chat room.
Yeah, like that
And
was
then-
what you did on the internet.
Yeah,
At like
and
12
then
years
Facebook
old.
came around
You
and
pretended you
killed
were
it
18.
with group chats or with the groups.
Yeah.
And now nobody wants to be in groups anymore. At least I don't feel like
No, yeah. I mean,
I hate Facebook groups. It's like
And the Facebook groups that I do belong to are like mountain biking. It's a weird thing. Like I pop on really quick and see what's going on, and I don't talk to anyone. You don't make friends. But yeah, I mean, 4 years ago, you would go on Facebook group chats.
Exactly.
Or like Facebook groups and stuff like that. And you would meet people like in your area. You would discuss things that were going on. You don't do that anymore.
I know that it's just group chat. So I feel like the whole chat room concept, like off of one of these social media platforms, could actually work now because people had it. It worked then. It worked for like 12 years, pretty much. I mean, I don't know if y'all are old enough, but I was on AOL back in the day.
That's what I'm saying. I remember being like 13.
Just going on there like, hey,
They were just-
ASL.
I was about to hit you with that. That's hilarious. Yeah, I remember that as a kid, and it being like so intriguing, especially because the internet was still like very new.
How big are you?
Right. there was very strange things
Measuring
that went on
from the back hole, I am. But yeah, it's that shit was wild. But yeah, I think that like an actual chat room, like a website you go to and there's a chat.
Yeah.
I think it would work nowadays because it's kind of like a little bit of like I feel like no matter, even if your group is private on Facebook, it feels like it's public.
It always feels like it's public.
So I feel like if you have a website where then you're signed up and then you get access to this chat, then I feel like it's kind of like like Google Hangouts now, like, but you have the ability to put a little bit more topic into it or dictate the threads because like I said, the men group chat is just like this timeline of what the hell's going on versus at least a chat or like a message board. Basically, you can like put a topic on there and hopefully people stay on topic in it.
Well, I think where we've gone from a society from like AOL, like ASL, public chat forums to now, and people wanting to express their opinions so much, I think it'll be hard to ever really gain control of a chat room ever again. Yeah, with just the way people are.
Last night, Sit Down Steve was saying that he's on MySpace.
He's such a liar,
dude. He had a good poker face, so I was kind of like, damn, they got an app. Let me go see.
They have an app. Yeah, I remember that on like Windows 2000. Steve is a riot. Steve is just so funny.
So how was like? You've done East Coast in a couple of years now. I mean, you're from that area.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not too...
I patroned it. I didn't make it the first year, but second, third, and this was the fourth year.
How wild has it gotten? And do you think it's going to continue to get more wild, or you think they'll rein it in and have some kind of structure to it?
Let's just open with they are absolutely not going to rein it in. That's just not in East Coast in fashion. That Gabe and Sal are not going to do that. I think it's probably one of the last like real organic annual events that are going on from at least my standpoint. I'll just speak for myself. I think it's like one of the last real organic events that go on because there are not a ton of vendors there. There's not like a ton of like distractions. Like dudes come there to ride, they come there to party together, everyone comes in to see each other. They spend a whole lot of time there wreaking havoc on the East Coast. This year was crazier than it's ever been. But we say that every year. Last year was crazier than the year before, and so on and so forth. But this year was really insane.
Didn't like the police like try to quarantine you guys to where they blocked out to where you couldn't get to it?
I wouldn't in this COVID environment. I'm not going to use the word quarantine, but they did. They did
rein you guys in.
They blockaded a lot of the streets. So we showed up early, dropped off some stuff, and then we left to go check into a hotel, and then we went to go back, and they had the road shut. They had like barriers up. So we parked our car and we just walked in. We walked like a mile in. And we got there and we had our stuff already set up. We had out some T-shirts and some units and stuff like that and just had a good time. Just hung out with people, got to see everyone congregated in one spot. Yeah. It was a really good time. There was a lot of really talented people out there really wreaking havoc on the streets of
all the pictures I think that like Chopsky was getting and all that. It seemed like how could you even do any stunts there with so many people right insane. There? It's almost like when you see a schoolyard fight and everybody gets around. Yep. That's what all the pictures look like.
Yeah, but see, like in the schoolyard fight, they stay away. All of these inebriated individuals on the streets of New Haven kept getting closer. So like Seabear was out there, or like we brought our rider Kyle Sliger with us. They would get out there and they would start doing stuff, and people would start moving in on them. So all of a sudden, like this 50-foot circle went to like 20 feet, and Seabear's trying to swing his bagger around inside that circle, and people are falling over and stuff like that. It was wild. Chopsky did a fantastic job, like capturing like the essence that is East Coast. And he's amazing. That was our first time working with him, and it was.
Dude, his work is bad. Like I started following him. Like I think when I started following him, he had like 1,000 or 2 followers, and like he just hitting the mark, man. Like his photography's super badass. He has a very cohesive edits to where a lot of the photography looks like he's done this before. Yeah. Like as opposed to mine, where I'm like, I'm gonna try that. And I'm gonna try this. I don't know where the fuck I'm at with
No,
anything.
I would say you're pretty consistent too, as well. From someone that like views content pretty regularly. Chopsky is like,
but he could take pictures of a lot more than just bikes.
That's true.
So like he'll go do a model shoot or this and that, and it's like there's.
I think he posted a horse today. Actually,
Yeah.
He did. He was taking pictures of horses. But I mean, it was still badass Chopsky photos. So it was awesome. Yeah, he's very consistent with it. I love working with him. He's a super nice guy, super down to earth. He's very professional. It was a pleasure working with him. We're going to continue to work with him.
Yeah,
for sure.
So that like this year at Sturgis, with you guys were like the main sponsor of the Bell Brawl as well, right? Or one of the
I wouldn't say the main, but we were one of the sponsors. We were out there with Legends and Fueling was out there. And obviously Bell, Ride and Destroy. It was a great time.
There was a lot of there was another stunt show that was supposed to take place there that was on the fence at the Buffalo Chip that was on the fence to get I guess it got canceled is what happened, but Zach, Lot Lizard was actually gonna ride in it and then it got canceled. So then he's like, I'll just ride the Road Glide and go on the trip with you guys. But yeah, that show, that whole little Buffalo Chip thing seems to start getting more and more traction, with the FXR show, the V-Twin show, the Bell Brawl.
That was the day to be there, right? Because like VTV was going on.
I think that was the FXR show.
Was it the FXR show that day? The FXR show that day, that led like immediately right into the Bell Brawl, right? Like it was like an hour break in between.
Yeah.
But they were practicing all morning at the Bell Brawl, so there was just tons going on the whole time. I had a great time. Unfortunately, I didn't get to hang out as much as I wanted to, but I got to walk around the Chip a little bit and say hi to people and get to see people. I think I walked by you for like 5 seconds, right? We walked by. I just walked by saying hi to people and then just went back to the Bell Brawl.
Hi. Hey.
I'm here. Hey guys. All right.
But no, that whole event, it seems to go. It's going well. Somebody reached out from the Buffalo Chip and they were trying to get like us to set up a booth there, which is not my vibe. I don't sell a product, so there's no reason to set up a booth. You know what I mean?
Meet Jay Sudson.
Yeah,
right.
That signing autographs. What the fuck? You know what I mean?
I mean, you're cool enough. I would come and get an autograph.
I got called a celebrity yesterday.
You did?
Yeah.
Who called you a celebrity?
I can't say because then it'll lose its validity.
If Steve called you a celebrity at 11:30 at night last night.
Steve was filling me out trying to find out if I'm relevant or not. But no, it's awesome seeing things grow. And I was talking to my wife too. I was like, this is her first time going to Sturgis with me since we went years ago. Just when she first moved here, and I told her I was like, the first couple years that we went to Sturgis, like I wasn't really much in the industry. I just painted bikes. Yeah. I was known for that, but like I didn't have a podcast. I wasn't like trying to go here. I wasn't shooting bikes for magazines either, at the time. And now this year, it's like, okay, we got to be at the FXR show. Yeah. Then we got to be after the FXR show. I went and shot John Jessup's bike in Spearfish. Yeah. Then here, and then I had, some of my really high roller customers are like, hey, we're having a party at our house. You bring all your guys out. Yeah. Got to do that, Yeah. And so it's like,
the industry almost demands it, right?
Yeah, and I told my wife, I was like, man, like I think that Sturgis from now on is more of a job than it was the first couple of times you went, because she was like, man, I thought we were gonna have more time together, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I kind of thought we did too, but like I didn't realize this,
kind of is what it is. It's
how is that vibe? Because like you're a lady at
oh god, at East Coast or not East Coast
at Brooklyn was just she was like a chatty Cathy to everybody.
She was on it. She has the gift of gab. She likes to talk to people, and people like to talk to her, so it works very well.
Yeah,
she's a sweetheart. I love her to death. She was having fun. We'll just leave it at that. She was having fun at Indian Larry's block party this year. But yeah, she does great. She has a great time.
Yeah.
She works all the events with us. She does all of them with us. She's a great personality, and people like talking to her, and people like seeing her, and it's always more comforting for females to see another female in the booth with them, right? So, that being said,
it probably it definitely helps. Yeah,
it's true. I mean, like women don't want to approach a whole group of dudes. That's just the fact of the matter. Some will, but
sluts do
a lot. Yeah, maybe.
If you do that,
a lot would
a
lot would be uncomfortable. But like you said, you went to Sturgis and you get pulled every which way. I went to the Buffalo Chip that day, the Bell Brawl, and I ran there, set everything up at the Brawl, and then I just walked around the FXR show, just talking to people that I hadn't seen in like 5-minute increments.
Yeah.
For like an hour, and then I just had to go back to the Bell Brawl. It was just work the entire time. I am much more inclined to just hang out and have a good time, but sometimes like the industry demands that you just go around and you see people.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and
Well,
visit with them.
that's probably the weird part for me and my wife too on that note, because at the FXR show, like I'm hanging out with Justin from Torch and FXR division, and I don't get to see him that much. So like we're playing catch up, and then this other dude from out west, because we usually go to California 2 or 3 times a year, and this year's only been once. So it's like you're catching up with everybody, and my wife's like, "Hey."
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, go find some food or something. You know what I mean? Not trying to be an asshole to her, but it's like, just I suck at that. You know what I mean? Like, you start seeing all these people you want to talk to and see how they've been, and you genuinely care about them as friends, and you're like, yo, man, like, how's things going with you? You know what I mean? And that takes, it might not be the place to spark up that kind of conversation, but I don't know when else we're going to see you.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Especially in this industry, it happens. Sometimes you have those type of like reconnections with people in the middle of an event, like you said, in the middle of the FXR show, and people are trying to walk up to you and talk to you and stuff like that. Your wife's with you and stuff, so you just
it works. So on this headset though, like one of the things that I was asking you guys when I first saw it was like, it still pretty much has a lot of the same features as the FG4 Pro. So it's more of a lateral move, is what you would say.
So it is, yeah. So it is not a direct replacement for the FT4 line.
Yeah.
The G16 is not meant to be directly above the FT4 line. Now, it does have some upgrades from the FT4. It does have the Type C audio jack. It has the 16 rider intercom. It has the music sharing capabilities.
So music sharing is basically like if I have something on mine, it can go to yours?
Yes.
That's cool.
So you and your wife are riding. You guys want to listen to the same music at the same time?
Oh, that's super cute.
It's pretty awesome. You can do it with all your buddies going down the road if you want to like set the mood and like you're riding through Spearfish and you want, I don't know, insert.
Do you know what that's what?
It's just me playing my band music the whole time, forcing it on.
Yep. Jesse just puts it on repeat and you just have to listen to it the whole time.
Oh, Lexin?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to ride.
How do you not
Because he's an
have one?
asshole.
Okay. All right. Well,
He
that's
doesn't
your
ride.
brother. I don't know what to tell you.
I just barely started seeing him again. we were on a family break for a
On a
while.
hiatus. I take family breaks every once in a while too. It's been like 7
Ours is
years.
like every other day. So.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
He's palatable for a couple hours. I think.
Every other day.
I'm gonna need you to
Even number of days.
leave. No, it's
Well, I appreciate him here right now. He's
Yeah.
behind the scenes doing the magic. I don't know. We don't have a camera facing him. He's there. He's there flexing.
no, it's well, I'd like to get a camera set up here so that you see this side of the room, but then I have to put some effort into making this all look decent in a camera. That's the other hard part. Like the new Rogan studio, one of the things that drives me nuts about it is every time you ever watched any of the videos, like this like the camera that's capturing me, it'll usually have a part of you in it, like the side of your head or some shit. So it's kind of like
I
put it
get
on
what you're
him real
saying.
quick.
Yeah, like this would be.
So it'll be like this all the time.
That's not cool.
It's annoying.
Yeah, that's
I'm
not
like, now that I watch a lot of podcasts with the TVs above the workstations and shit, like, I'm like, man, like, I get it. Like, I get the whole vibe. So, like, getting these camera angles is really tough because I had put some things up here, but it captured way too much. You know what I mean?
I can see that. Yeah,
but you don't necessarily want the cameras in the shot either.
it's a trick. It's very tricky.
It's tricky as fuck.
How do you like the red lighting? Do these change colors?
Yeah, I can go to whatever color, but it seems like what transfers into the podcast or into the video well is the red. I've done it with blue and purple and stuff like that, but since this video, we're not like doing color grading on it and making it more vibrant. No. It's just a stream. The red picks up and it creates like a little bit of a vibe, I guess you'd say.
I like it.
And the red carpet,
Red carpet.
Yeah.
Red carpet's pretty baller.
So I got this table. Now, what I wanted to do, and I don't know if I can find anybody to do it for me, but I've been buying these old Easy Riders.
Yep.
And so I wanted to take all the centerfolds out
Ooh,
and like kind of cut them and like have it all like epoxied onto the table.
that would be pretty
To
cool.
where like when you look down, it's like you see like a 1978 Bush or some shit, you know?
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
There'll be bikes there too, but
There'll be some motorcycles.
it'd be a
right?
conversation piece. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, at the
It'd be
very
weird
least,
if I like had a podcast with a chick though, and she's just seeing like 80s Bush all over the table.
yeah, you should probably put some motorcycles in there. You could
Flip it,
probably
it'll be dudes.
you could do like a glass top too.
Yeah, well, the glass top might glare, so that's the only other thing I was thinking.
Don't they have those like non-glare? Like
I think it would have to
clear-
be sanded or some shit. Like
I have no idea.
I don't know.
But I imagine like an epoxy coating would
I
probably
want to
glare
like
too.
I want to build like I don't know how to do it, but I'd love to make like a one-off like Sam Crow style table. You know what I mean?
You could get the engraver to do it, I'm sure.
This shit's particle board, but
Yeah,
this
this is probably
this
still
thing's heavy as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
It's super heavy.
You might still. Nah, you probably.
Now
wouldn't
that I've
do
done this studio though, like I know what I want the next one to be like size wise. Like I didn't realize that the door was going to be an issue, but there's no other place I can set this table up and get background. You know,
Okay. Yeah. Good point.
like if I turn it sideways, then
Can you
it's
fit
not
it
long
sideways
enough.
in
Yeah, I
that
can
room?
fit the table sideways, but I can't fit the all this shit.
That would be.
It would be
strange, yeah.
behind somebody.
Yeah.
Therefore, it would end up being in the shot.
No, I mean I think this is fine. Would you go bigger?
I would, yeah, for sure.
How
a
much
little bit
bigger? And would you go like longer or wider or just both?
I would probably go. I think if there was about 6 foot wider, maybe.
Okay.
Or I don't know. I think the width is okay. I think it just needs to be longer
Yeah.
because if you make it too wide, then the background becomes so far away that it doesn't look. I don't know. I don't think the shot looks as good.
I think you can go a couple more feet in length,
Yeah.
a little bit, just a little bit more. Just give a little bit more room right there, right?
Yeah, like last night, how many people were here last night? Just like 9 people or some shit.
Yeah.
So obviously they couldn't all fit in here to hang out, and then it's like they can't be out there talking, so they're all sitting out in front of the shop. Like there was like 2 chicks here from California with those dudes, and they're out there eating like canes or some shit on the ground.
They weren't eating Whataburger.
There was one over there,
Unacceptable.
right?
There
Yeah.
better be Whataburger. Yeah.
But yeah,
I was like, y'all got an in and out?
I want to try it.
Why? If you're from California, why?
I don't
would
know
you?
if he was. I think he was from like St. Louis.
Yeah.
I don't know.
In and out's trash.
I don't like it. I think it's
Wow,
probably
those are
fu-
bold statements, guys.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
But I stand behind it.
Okay, that's fair.
It's
I'll
not
take
a
it.
bad burger, but it ain't like
It's not great.
I'd definitely do a McDonald's hamburger over it.
Oh my god! How dare you say that?
Dude, double cheeseburgers?
When I come to Texas, I eat
Fuck with me.
Whataburger, and when I go to California, I eat In-N-Out.
It's
Yeah.
actually
just what I do.
better- Like in and out's probably better in California.
That's false. That's not true. It's
It's
actually the same.
trashier in my opinion.
It's trashier.
I felt like the ones that are here are new. The ones out there have been there since the 80s and 90s or whatever shit. They're all ran down.
The first time I had Whataburger was in Phoenix, and or I'm sorry, not Whataburger.
In-N-Out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first time I had it was in Phoenix, and those were really nice.
What's the burger chain that everybody fucks with on the East Coast?
They
It doesn't
they don't-
exist?
Yeah, that's just not a thing. No, I mean really like the big 3 are king, like McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's.
Yeah, you would think
That's
White
right.
Castle would be a little bit stronger out there
I mean, it was strong for like a
because they had a movie.
yeah, exactly, yeah, for like a moment it was kind of strong, but like I don't see him anymore.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that they make a burger and you have to deal with their shit. Like I don't like onions on my shit. Like
That's it. You're getting onions.
yeah, it's like
Jace has to get. There is no asking for no onions.
yeah, I don't
That's-
like that.
that's off the table.
That's how Crystal's is. Crystal's burger or something like that.
Yeah.
Do they do that too? They like grill
Yeah,
on
it's like-
onions.
Yeah, I don't like that, man. It's not my thing.
Well, all right. Now that we've had our conversation about fast food in this podcast about motorcycles, today's the day for the
Yeah.
Hood Ride 2. Are you excited?
Kinda.
You should be excited.
I'm excited because I'm excited for everybody else to have a good time. All right, now me, I'm kind of a worrier and a planner and this, that, and the other, and for all the people that traveled here from other towns, like I really want them to have a great experience. And
other
I hope
towns, other coasts.
yeah, the coast,
Yeah.
things like that. Like I want them to come to Dallas, and be like, this place is badass.
No.
You know, so I'm hoping the city's accommodating.
Well, so far the weather's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It is 64 and hazy, and you can barely see, and the road's wet, so not very
Well, it's
good.
early though, and we always have a little bit.
It'll
of
probably burn off. But no, I'm absolutely with you on that. I'm just excited that all these people decided to come together. We talked about this a couple months ago, and I really just thought it would be an opportunity for Lexin to come out and hang out with like the local guys here.
Yeah.
Really, you know, and do a couple cool things. And then we talked to Steve, and Steve said he wanted to come out. And then more people started coming out. And then we were talking earlier this week. You said Simpson was coming out. I was like, oh, man, I think this has gotten much bigger than we planned on it getting. But that's cool. And it's just a testament to the industry that even in 2020, people aren't willing to slow down. People still want to go out. They still want to do cool things. And the people that are willing to put on events or even just gatherings, right? Because this isn't an event.
It's a gathering.
Yeah, it's a gathering.
It's
right?
magically gathering.
It's magic. It's not a card game. But even just being willing to facilitate that type of gathering and helping people get together really speaks to the involvement in the industry for those people, right?
What I like about these smaller events is that I feel like I feel as though most of the people can have a sense of ownership to it.
Yes, they
You
can
know what
feel
I mean?
like they're really a part of it.
Yeah,
right?
as opposed to like, don't get me wrong, Sturgis is my every year go-to place, but I don't feel like I have any ownership in Sturgis. I wasn't around. I wasn't even a thought in any of my family's lineage when it started.
Yep.
And now that it's going on now, it's like I still feel 15, 20 years away before I really have a
say that you're a part of Sturgis,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So, you know, like these smaller events, these camp outs, these hood rides, like all this type of stuff, it just feels like you're, you know, whether your name's on it or not, like you feel like, man, I went to the first one, you know,
That's
like
cool. Yeah.
the camp out, you know, our first one, like it created so many bonds and friendships
Yeah.
that has like meshed across the country, or at least this side of the Rockies for the most part.
Yeah.
And has spawned off on so many different types of other events and other things going on. And now this dude's cool with this dude. And like, it made a mesh of rad dudes in every town, basically.
Well, it definitely made like motorcycle camping
Hip.
like yeah, it made it cool again, right? I mean, I've always thought it was really cool to go camping, like very minimal style camping, like on a motorcycle. I've been doing that for years, but to see like you guys start your camp out, and then Steve did one in Michigan, right? And then there was one in PA, and then Craig did his this year in Florida. That's cool, you know. That's
So, like, I wouldn't say that we made it cool. I think the chopper community made the camping cool. I just think that what we've done is try to get the guys that probably would never go do this shit to do it, and now they're hooked. Because it hooked me. Like, when I was riding a big wheel around, I wouldn't stay in no fucking campgrounds. Dude,
you couldn't park that thing in a campground.
I can't lay my air right out on these sticks. You know what I mean? So it's like it just created a whole new vibe, and I felt more connected to the event being at a campground. But like I said, it's something like I can't pitch like, hey, I'm going to start a rally. That's a huge pitch, right?
It's a big deal.
That means money has to come involved. If I say I'm going to start a camp out, you know, hey, man, you cool if like a whole bunch of bikers come here and get trashed and make a lot of noise and, you know, buy beer from you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Or starting like a hood ride. Right?
Yeah, the hood ride. I mean, the reason we did the hood ride originally with Zach was a big part of helping to put that on was literally just to, at the time, it was kind of to mend Dallas because we had a little separation between Fort Worth and Dallas going on.
Yeah.
So to mend those bonds. And the Fort Worth crowd is much more into the stunt riding than the Dallas crowd is.
Okay.
You know? We're more the travelers. They're more the stunt riders.
Okay.
But, you know, we all like motorcycles, and that's what matters. And so that was kind of a more of that. But then it also exposed to me, like, man, like there's some really, really good stunt riders here that I am not seeing getting shared all over the internet like some of these other people are who, from my limited knowledge of what stunt riding is and what's hard and good, I don't think that half these dudes on these coasts are as good as some of the people that are running around here. I would still say that dude Bam, who unfortunately is not here today, probably, and Zach even says he's probably one of the most sound dudes on, like, I forgot what Zach used. It was slide of best stunt rider there is in America.
It's a bold statement to make.
Yeah,
It's a bold statement to make.
But what is stunning is it drifting like Seabear does between cars on the highway? That's amazing. That's really sick.
At 80 miles an hour.
Exactly. Or is it, you know, like the East Coasters' control of their bike that they have to be able to do whatever they want on it, you know?
Yeah, it's true. I guess we don't have like a concrete definition of what.
I mean, you could say like
is.
Kyle Slager or Rob, you know, One Wheel Revolution, like that. Those dudes put out really, really sound content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Rob's content, I could watch that shit all day. It's like cinematic stunt shows and shit.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But, you know, when it comes to just the straight hood ride type shit, you know, like there's something about seeing a dude just, you know, going across bridges and doing this like in public.
Yeah.
Completely illegal. But
just wiling out, right?
Yeah. As opposed to like someone in a, you know, I always tell Zach, I was like, I think that when you guys start doing this on the street, that getting video and footage of that looks so much more cooler than seeing a whole bunch of docking doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm condoning the illegal activities.
It's a good time. You know, we're here to rally people together, to have that group of people come together and hang out and have a good time. We're going to give away some stuff and just have people ride their motorcycles and have fun. We want to be a part of that.
Yeah, so. That's exactly what it is. And I think now, like this time with you guys getting involved, I mean, you kind of egged us on to do it again.
I did. I'll take credit for that. I did.
And so, like, doing it, it's like now it's like, yeah, it'd be cool with you guys coming in. It'd be cool. So now that maybe the rest of the country can see the guys here that are, I mean, we do have Steve here. There's other riders, you know, Rusty's here. Yep. There's other riders that came in from other areas, but I think it's going to help shine a light on some of these local, and even I think there's some Houston cats coming up too that ride pretty hard. Yeah, I saw a bunch of people all over the interwebs talking about coming up. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I like doing this shit though. I like finding, like, I want to figure out a way to do like an actual ride, like our traveling ride, and bring people on that somehow. But I don't really want to ride with 200 people across the country or anything like that. So I want to find a way to kind of show people how we do the traveling and get that experience and make it to where like people can get on board with that. You know, I've been thinking a million different types of ways to do events, and I really want to do this event like in the Rockies somewhere, or somewhere kind of like on this side of the Rockies, but on the foothills of it. Okay. It's find one of those like old school style motels. It's kind of like a U shape. Yeah. And just like book it all out and take it over for a weekend, but it's around it kind of like Maggie Valley and the FXR Jam.
So they do that at a bunch of the like. I've seen that happen at a bunch of places. So the Race of Gentlemen that goes on in New Jersey, they do the Night of the Troglodytes, which is like a dirty chopper scene. And they have like those old like 1970s like motels, like you said, like horseshoe with a pool in the center, and like choppers parked inside there, and there's dudes doing beer bongs like off the second floor and stuff like that. And it's just super dirty, but everyone's inside that fenced-in area, and I feel like
that's
a blast.
That's the closest to a camp out with people still having beds in their own showers as we can do it.
Exactly, because it is like very communal at that point, right? Because you have these tiny, tiny little motel rooms. You're not going to sit in there and hang out with four guys.
You're going to sit on the front porch. And,
exactly, like people just pull their chairs out and sit right there.
Yeah, that's the vibe. I want to do that, which I'm not inventing that. That like you said, they do it. That's the FXR Jam. Yeah, like. I want to do something like that to kind of put the performance bagger scene, at least on the side of the Rockies, together without it being like a lot of them went out to the V-Twin Visionary show. But I think that we have a big enough scene to where we can do our own thing. You know what I mean? So. And just,
And you think east of the Rockies?
I like pushing people to do stuff that's hard, and it's easy for me because I'm in the middle of the country.
Would you get that vibe that you would be looking for? Because like the motel hotel like type of scene you're describing to me, and maybe it's just because I grew up on the East Coast, but that is like the definition of like the East Coast. Like,
yeah, but they're all over they're everywhere. You know, like basically if you go to any town and you go onto their main road before the highway skipped around it, they're covered in those type of motels. Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh God! Please don't do it in Roswell. I don't want to go out to Roswell with you.
There's some good riding out there, though.
There is.
It's a little bit of ways, but it's good riding.
It's a little bit of ways. I've ridden through Carlsbad and stuff like that in New Mexico, and that was awesome. There's nothing in Carlsbad, but the caverns is really cool.
That's where you said the people are edgy as hell looking. Yeah.
Yeah,
We ate at Chili's
That's
there
a
once.
nice way. That's a nice way. Yeah, I went to a Chili's in Carlsbad too.
Yeah.
There's like a Chili's,
Same one we went
a
to.
Walmart, and like a Hampton Inn.
Yeah, because we went to that Walmart, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And it was super sketch. Like, we didn't leave the bikes out there.
Yeah.
Like, one dude went in, got some stuff. It was like shotgun shells and like whiskey, like baby diapers. Like, that's all that was in the Walmart. And then we went to the Hampton Inn.
See, that kind of ride or that kind of event would be really dope at like Durango or somewhere like right next to some really badass riding.
Oh.
And the only I know that it'll probably end up being like a Tennessee, North Carolina, Smokies kind of vibe just because of the convenience of it. But that's what I like about like pushing this somewhere where it's not convenient, because when you get out of that convenient zone, you start having a much better connection to the task that you're doing. Like, you know, riding, you know, I've been saying this a lot lately because a lot of people seem to want to do campouts now. I'm like, it's not about having a million of them, because if you do that, lazy people go to the most convenient one and they don't do the ones that are actually the point of the campout is to ride to it.
That was going to be my next point to you is, do you feel like with some of these events becoming smaller, do you think that they're becoming more plentiful and almost watering down like the effect they have, right?
I think so. I mean,
because this year was packed for events for
small things.
Yeah, for like myself through Lexin, and then like small personal ones, like guys getting together and stuff that I was trying to reach. I was busy like every freaking weekend, the entire time.
Exactly.
There were like 2 different campouts that went on in PA, and then there was the up north campout with Steve, and then there's always events in New York going on that I go to. And then Sturgis still happened, and East Coastin still happened, and Indian Larry still happened. So it was super busy the entire time. But I'm with you. I think you can't stop people from doing anything.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of like one extremely like sought after one that people really try to push and make it to.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think the quality of the event will be better because people have to work harder to get to that event.
Yeah, like I said, the watered down aspect does it. That's the scary part, because like I said, there are a lot of badass parts of the country, and it'd be cool to have a maybe. I don't want to put myself in this position, but just like follow me down this path real quick. Like if I was to say this is a sanctioned Fast Life campout, you know, it's the down south campout, but it's backed by the Fast Life or some stupid shit like that, right? As opposed to
Fast Life approved.
Yeah, all these
Fast
other
Life
little
approved. Stamp.
these little ones that pop up that don't really, you know, like Craig was, he said it best, is like, you know what, I'm trying to make sure that this place has lights hanging up in the campground area so we have an area to congregate so it's not pitch black in the middle of the night.
Yeah, walking around with the headlamps
Trying to
on
make sure
stuff.
they have this. Like there's a lot of things that people are trying to do. Like a dude reached out to me from New Jersey, and I'm not trying to say this to talk shit about him, but he reached out and he was like, hey man, can I ask you some questions about a campout? I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he goes, hey, I really think I want to do one. We got some really cool riding out here in New Jersey. I think I'd like to do one here. I'm like, all right, you know, okay. He goes, there's a really nice KOA right down the street. I'm like, dude, KOA is not gonna, it's not gonna be the spot, man.
Yeah.
It needs to be a biker-centric campground, because even normal campgrounds have RVs and people that are traveling the country. They don't want to be around a fucking bunch of loud bikers. They're gonna be up till 5 a.m.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And he said he's never gone to anybody else's campout. So he hasn't done Steve's. He hasn't done mine.
Did you put him on mute then?
No, I just like, man, like you want to be known for doing something, but you haven't done it yourself yet.
Well, maybe he needs to, and I'm sure you like said that to him. Maybe he needs to like gain that experience and go to those campouts and see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. Maybe you come to ours and you get an idea to make it a better one, or you found some areas that makes it better. Like,
and by all
you know
means,
how
he
hard it
doesn't
is?
have to. He doesn't have to, but he'll learn a lot, I'm sure. The first time you go like primitive camping and realize that like you showed up 30 minutes before it gets dark and you have like one flashlight with you. Yeah. You realize how hard that really is all of a
better
sudden.
have that Lexin headlamp on
Yeah,
there.
you better have an FT4 Pro or G16. Yeah, but then you realize how difficult it is to do things like that, and you need to learn. It's trial and error doing those things. So, yeah, I mean, I always commend anyone trying to get people together, right, to go out and do things together. That's what motorcycles are about. But yeah, it'll be a it'll be a painful process.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, we've been talking about doing a show here in Texas, like an actual bike show, like put your bike in the show, vendors, all that stuff. Yeah. I'd like to do something. I don't want to call it the Fast Life Motorcycle Show, but I want to do something like that.
Jace Hudson's motorcycle show.
Yeah, it'll just be my actual name.
Yeah, just Jace Hudson.
So, but no, I really want to do that. And I have a handful of guys that have experience in that, and I want to make it happen. But, dude, it's like my buddy Zombie Mike from Houston. He's got a lot of experience putting on shows, but he's in Houston, and we're trying to do it in the Hill Country. So now we got to like figure out a way to get together and the other persons that are going to be involved and go find a venue and talk to them and set dates and do this. It's like probably a weekend trip just to go down there and sit down with it. And like
probably multiple weekends,
exactly.
Honestly. Yeah. Because you're going to vet those places and then come back to sign papers and
find out what all we need, this and the other,
insurance and stuff like that.
And so like I want to do it, man. And it's not because I want to like. It's not an ego stroking thing for me. Like it's just like I want to do this shit. Yep. Nobody's doing it. I'll throw it on. Are you
thinking like Hill Country, like New Braunfels, like River Roadhouse or Ice House?
Absolutely loved
Brazos River.
I loved Giddy Up, man. Giddy Up changed my life.
Yep.
And I love that, and I want it to be that again. But Jackson's Choppers, he's one of the guys from the Giddy Up panel. No. He's got his new thing going, which is the Texas Time Traveler Show, which I don't want to step on that, but I want a show that has that vibe of Giddy Up, but also has the vibe of like, oh, my brand new Lowrider S is welcome to be in here at a bike show.
Yep.
Or the Sportster out in the front. You know what I mean? Because like you go to Giddy Up, you go to fucking Born Free, these chopper centric shows, and there's a couple really badass choppers in there. But the parking lot's full of Dynas, FXRs, Sportsters, performance baggers.
Giddy Up was taken from us too soon. It was such a great event. It was such a great location for it.
So River Road, the Ice House there, I think they went out of business too.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh man, what is happening?
But
is that like 2020 stuff?
No, I think they had been bouncing around owners for the last couple of years, and it just didn't stick.
That's such a shame. But there's a big campground down there too.
The Haco Springs, right? Waco Springs.
And you guys have
I've thought about doing it so there's two areas to camp there. There's like more your RVs and shit area, and then there's the area they would give us for Giddy Up, which has it's like 3-tier level. Okay. So the down one, I thought it'd be cool to make it to where like, all right, you have to pay to get in the show, but there's also camping up here. You know what I mean?
That would be cool.
And that way it's like the show's down at the bottom and like turn that whole field into a campground. Yeah. Motorcycle show. That's what I would like to do. Because I think that for people coming in out of town, like the camping aspect, what we used to do at Giddy Up, walking around middle of the night drunk, seeing all these people set up, there's badass vans there, there's choppers, there's Dynas, there's clubs out there. It is a fucking good time. And I miss that shit so much. But I don't want to bring that to the Fast Life camp out. I want the camp out to say what it is.
Yep. Two separate
primitive, primitive, no vendors. We've been talking about doing the sponsor thing. That way we can kind of get shirts going and shit like that, but not like setting people up, setting booths up and doing this and it becoming a big.
Yeah, that's not what people come out there for.
Yeah, it's not.
People aren't window shopping out there. They're not there to buy stuff. And like you said, you wouldn't want to taint the organic feel to that event with setting up, Joe's motorcycle tools in the corner in a 10x10. That just
where are we gonna put the bandana guy?
Yeah.
All right, put the get back whip guy over here, the patch guy over there. Like, I don't want to do all that, man. And plus, I like going there and enjoying it as a patron and not doing it as like a host.
That's true, and that's like when we went to East Coast and we went there. We had some stuff to give out. We set up our table. We gave out the stuff, but when we were done, we were done. When we left our booth, it was just there.
You're partying.
We just walked around. We hung out with people. We got to go see the stunt shows and stuff like that. We got to eat. It was a good time.
That's the move I think that makes like younger companies like yourself and myself. I think that's how we're going to be pushing the envelope in the future instead of going, which I know you guys have a product, so setting up at Sturgis makes sense, but for me, just being here, being everywhere helps
really
my
helps.
brand out way better than if I was just, you have to come see me in Spearfish,
Yeah.
you know, and being stuck to one spot, because first off, we kind of sell more of a lifestyle in a sense.
Yeah.
I say that, but it's like paint jobs. My paint jobs can change your life.
Yeah, I would say so. A lot of bold statements being made on this podcast today.
Hey man, like
Life-changing paint jobs. I would agree with that statement.
I maybe not just mine. I think paint jobs in general can change
I
a
think
lot
it
of
changes
people's
the whole.
life.
I think it changes the whole bike, right? Like, James, as far as I'm concerned, he's the best dude in Texas.
Yeah.
Besides people in this room, he's the best dude in Texas. He let me borrow his bike for this ride. It was super, super nice of him. I got to ride it last night, and I rode it today. And it's an awesome bike. But he's done what needs to be done to that bike to make it comfortable. But that paint job has just put it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I mean, does he have a lot of motor into it or anything like that? Or is it just,
We did a cam chest in there.
okay, so he did a cam chest to it. And then, he's got a pipe, he's got an air cleaner and stuff like that. But he doesn't have anything like crazy over the top. He has stock wheels on it, right?
No, they're Lindals.
They're Lindals too?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm taking a lot of thunder away from James's bike. He's got a lot of fancy
His
things
bike's
on it.
it's a full built bike. It's
But he has a stock front end on it, right?
yeah, but it came with that inverted front end.
I know it came with an inverted front end, so it is a fancy one. But he didn't do anything as far as
It's got rear suspension on it.
he has rear suspension.
We
I retract my
we-
previous statement. It's a complete build. It has everything on it.
Complete, but it's subtle.
But that's a better way to put it. Yeah, it is subtle, and the paint job really makes it stand out to me.
A lot of people like it because it is custom, but it's not as loud as maybe Big Will Cody's bike, which is red, white. It looks like what are those candy cane things or barber poles?
A barber pole.
Yeah. But
I like Cody's paint job too.
I've always told people, like, especially people that are YouTube guys and people that are trying to create some type of influence on these things.
Yeah.
Put like this, I'm starting to realize now, as like this industry has changed from, build a bike and sell it. Now it's build a bike, I'll sell the tins and repaint it, because now I need fresh tins. I need a fresh paint job so that my content stays fresh.
That's true.
You know what I
right?
mean?
Because you painted the bike this year, right? You had a paint job last year, and you're gonna. I'm assuming you're gonna repaint it for 21, right?
Yeah. So basically, the goal, I think, what's going to happen is I'm going to sell these tins with trade.
Okay.
So like I'm going to take their stock.
Are you gonna
tins.
keep the bags though? Because you kept the bags off the last bike.
No, I got the whole body set off the last bike.
Oh, you do.
So I could fix it and sell it if I want, but it had a lot of
okay.
damage on it from all the riding. This one, I've got about 15,000 miles on it.
And how did it fare this time?
It's good because
Okay.
I've been, you learn to ride in the front of the pack all the time because you're not getting as many rock chips.
Like James's fairing. It's got a big rock chip on there.
Yeah, he's usually right behind me.
That makes sense.
So with that, because like say next year I go to Cal. Like I haven't been to California on this paint job yet, so getting like shots at Golden Gate or on PCH, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
But every year, if I'm creating this content and I have the same paint job the next year at the same spot, then that photo doesn't have the same impact as if it was a newer paint job.
It's true.
And I put so many miles on my bike, it just doesn't make sense to build one and sell it because.
But are you gonna like keep the side cover or something from
I
that
can
paint?
always make another one.
But that's not the same.
Well,
It's not the same. There's sediments in there.
it is 100%.
Yeah.
But like this paint job that's on the bike now, I think it looks good. And I think that I would rather paint it, run it for a while, sell it for $4,000, which is maybe a third of what it would cost to get done.
Yeah, I would say that's a really fair price.
And so like now it's like you have and it'll be fresh. Like any chips or anything on it will get completely like repaired. It'll be like a brand new paint job, but instant. You pay me, we swap the tins.
Done.
You go on your way.
There is no 3-month
You're
waiting
now a
period.
brand ambassador.
6 months. You are now a sanctioned fast life.
I deem you. But no, that's kind of the thing. So I was thinking about that because last year on that trip, I had did that last paint job I had, and it was kind of an experiment trying to figure out how to do to get where I'm at now with my paint. But now it's like we did this one right before Sturgis, and I was like, man, we're going to Yellowstone, the Tetons, Sturgis, obviously, all these other places in Colorado. Like I need my bike to be
appealing to all these people online again.
Yeah.
And if it's the same paint job, it looks like the bike it was there last year.
Understandably so. What are going to be the new color schemes?
Dude, I did a helmet for this one of the dudes out of he's actually in New Jersey right now. He's from there. Okay. He's out of Austin. He has an FXR. I did a helmet with him with his dog on the top.
Oh, like the wiener dog?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I think he's a wiener dog, right? Yeah.
A
No, I don't think. I think he's like a Dotson or something like that. He's an old dog.
Isn't that a wiener dog?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I think it's a
Somebody
German
fact
Shepherd.
check us.
It's a wolf.
It's a wolf?
I don't know. But
It's
no,
a
it's
dinosaur. You painted a dinosaur.
I
on
like the
someone's
paint
helmet.
job, and I'm really keen to orange. For some reason, I like orange bikes, but purple pinstripes. You know
I was
what I'm
about to say, I was waiting for it to be like Crown Royal purple,
saying?
right?
That'd be dope.
Crown Royal purple, maybe a velvet seat. Something
I
really
think
purple.
that. So I haven't really built a bike since my gold FXR. Like my bagger, the last bagger I had, this bagger, it's all just kind of been parts thrown on it.
Don't you have an FXR out here?
That's for a customer. That's a friend of mine.
Okay.
Dude, I've been buying all this camera equipment and all this stuff that's in this room. Like I haven't had bike money. You know what I mean? Honestly. So I want to do a whole frame off. Like I want to pull everything out of the frame, completely paint the frame
Of the M8?
Yeah, of my current bike, and just completely do a fresh build. You know, I got a swing arm from my machinist down there that I want to paint to go on the bike.
Yep.
So basically do it around like February, March, be ready for April. And then I don't know, like it sucks because at that point I'm not going to tear it back down and redo the frame to change the color again. So maybe that'll be the time that I'll sell the bike after next season.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
But so like when you ride a lot though, man, like that's the thing about building a bike and riding, right? If you build a bike and you want to sell it, you're not going to ride it because you want to keep the miles low. You want to keep any kind of damage from happening.
That's true.
And so that takes away the point of what my brand is about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're kind of stuck in this double-edged sword.
Yeah,
right?
where like people are like, well, why do you just keep repainting it? You're like building the same bike 100 times. Like, well, because I'm actually using it.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not just like trailered around and they look pretty in parking lots. Like
Yeah, you guys ride.
Yeah,
You ride a lot,
100%.
which is awesome. It's the way to do
I've
it.
done 8,000 miles since in 2 months.
Since Indian Larry's?
Since like a week before Indian Larry's.
Okay. Okay, so from like Milwaukee, around 8,000 miles. Jesus.
Basically,
That's a lot of miles.
It's like 4,000 miles a month.
That's a lot of miles.
Yeah. On top of
How far did you ride with the 2-lane life guys?
Not that far. We did we left here. We did Local Coyote, which is, you know, it's like 80 miles from here, 60 miles, something like that. It's not that far. Yeah. And then from there, we went to Bandera, which I think is about 200 miles. And then from Bandera, we went probably another 60 miles west. And then we broke off in the sisters, and they went home. And then we went back up here. So, you know, not too much. Maybe like 500 miles total, the entire thing. I don't even know if it was that much, to be honest with you. That's really bad math. 200 plus 60 is not 500.
I think you said 80, 260. Yeah, sure. Give or take 500 miles.
Yeah.
That's not fine. It's not anywhere close, but that's okay.
Those dudes are solid though, man. I really liked them. Jesse was even saying it's like wasn't the vibe his vibe of what they I guess appeared to be like versus how they ended up being as he met them was like that's why I like those dudes. I always
They're
have.
super cool guys, Galen and Lance. They're like the best of the best people.
I'm trying to get them to adopt me, man. I want to be Lance's brother. Hey, Thrash and Lance. Can I be Jay Thrashing?
I don't know if it works like that, but
so we're like brothers now.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
No, I dig. Those guys are good, and what they represent
They
is
crush
more
miles.
of what I want to do or promote.
I hope I'm half as cool as they are.
Yeah,
when I'm
dude.
their age.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm almost positive I won't be anywhere near as cool as them.
Well, you know, me and James, you know, James is not riding this weekend because he's got like a slip disc or something in his back, you know, and that's something that could clearly be an issue for us as we, you know, age. Like, you know, like Jesse's doing fucking MMA and shit now, so he could easily get hurt and not be able to ride anywhere. You know.
Be retarded by like 30. Won't remember my own name. I'm excited.
It's gonna be a good time.
So like, you know, there's part of me that's like, oh man, I got all these dream trips planned for the rest of my life that I want to go do. But there's also the part of me that's like, man, I could only have 2 or 3 more years left of riding in me.
Oof! Don't say that.
I mean, if all of a sudden like my back goes out, or
Well, I mean, all more reason I guess to take care of
Stay in
yourself.
shape. That's all you gotta do.
yeah,
Drink more of these.
I drink a lot of that shit.
Drink less beer.
That's the beers.
More
I've been
sparkling
trying
water.
to drink whiskey, but then
People come in here and
But then you drink beer and whiskey.
yeah,
yeah, probably not drink both.
pick one.
Yeah, and probably not the beer. But yeah, just stay in shape, stay healthy,
Trying
stay
to, man.
active. You got that sweet bicycle in the garage.
Yeah, I haven't had time to fucking ride it.
You should ride it more.
Dude,
That's been
it's-
my COVID
If
thing.
you
It's
think
been
about
mountain
it, if you
biking.
think about it in the way it's like, if I stay in shape, then I can ride longer. I think it'd be easier to stay motivated.
Well, so I'm motivated. Like I wake up every day and like you're gonna do this in the mirror, right?
You're that meme. You're that
Yeah,
guy pointing
you're
to
gonna
himself in
do
the
this
mirror.
today.
It's a discipline thing.
It
It
is.
is.
It's hard, and it's a consistent thing,
The
right?
consistency. So I have the discipline to do it. What I don't have is the consistency because
Discipline to be consistent.
I don't have the opportunity, right? So like,
Well,
if-
I mean, what is 30
put it like
minutes?
this.
Yeah,
What
it's
is 30 minutes when you get home?
30 minutes when you wake up.
Well, okay. Let me give you my main excuse.
I'm not with Jesse on this, dude. In the afternoon, I'm not an early waker by any means.
Let me give you my excuse. This is my number one excuse, right?
Let's hear 'em.
Because right now, like, so it's more of a diet thing along with the exercise.
Yes.
And right now it's like, okay, every weekend for the last month and a half, there's been something going on where I knew I was going to be drinking. So I haven't had a point in life where I've had 2 weeks where I can just like literally cut the drinking out
Yeah.
and get on a real diet plan so I can start working out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my excuse, right? There's maybe a little bit of a, go ahead.
Don't start with a diet. Don't start with changing your food. Don't start with none of that. All you got to do is start exercising. You will lose weight. I guarantee it. Don't even change what you're eating right now. And once you start losing weight, you want to start eating healthier because.
I eat healthy. It's beer. Beer's my only problem.
Okay, well then, once you start exercising,
We had Whataburger for breakfast.
It's your fault.
once you start exercising and you start losing weight, it becomes easier to start eating better
Yeah.
because you're like, if I eat this, I'm not gonna enjoy this exercise I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah. Well, like
Well, and you'll feel it too,
Yeah.
right?
You'll build the habit of exercising, and then you won't have that excuse like I'm gonna drink tonight. Well, regardless of whether or not you're drinking, you're still gonna exercise.
yeah. So that when the last time I was in decent shape was before I met my wife. And my routine was simple. Like I worked, came home. If I was doing dumbbells, I had a badass gym downstairs. If I needed to do any kind of machines, sound like an exotic. If I need to do any kind of machines or anything, the 24-hour fitness was exactly a mile from my loft in downtown.
That's perfect.
So I could run there,
Yeah.
do the shit, and then run home. And it was an everyday thing. And I was
Well,
in the best shape of my life.
I'll be with Jesse on it. Doing something is always better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
So even if like you can't eat as healthy as you would like to, or you can't choose not to not drink that week or that weekend or whatever. Doing something is always better than nothing.
True, yeah.
You can ride
Then,
that bicycle right outside your garage,
yeah,
like 30 minutes. It's something. It's anything is always better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I always tell myself because I try to keep myself in shape too, as much as possible. And I enjoy running. I'm not very good at it.
Yeah.
I'm not fast by
I
any
don't
means,
mind
but
running, and I grew up playing basketball. So like even last year, I started playing basketball again.
Yeah,
and
I
that
saw
was
that.
very helpful.
No.
But yeah, man, it's just like there's this whole brand of us that is this party, right? I feel like Bert Kreischer sometimes, where it's like I have to be this, get drunk, and
His problem is discipline, dude.
yeah,
That's all
Yep.
it is.
it's like when Steve was here last night, dude. I had to get on his level, 100%.
Had you couldn't stay down on the bottom.
Podcast wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Imagine how much cooler you could have been if you could stay on his level, and then you could also
Woke up
work out the next day.
and ran 3 miles this
because
morning.
now you're that much better than
That's not
whatever
gonna
you
happen.
think you're doing.
I'd have to virtue signal all you guys. You know what I did today? That's how good I am. No,
There-
it's-
If you start, if
There
you,
is something about like partying really hard and then like
working out the next day?
yeah, and then waking up at like 5 in the
you feel
morning
like
and
a
going
fucking
running.
badass.
You're like, oh, hard as shit.
Yeah.
I can do this all the time.
I like that. I don't know. I need to get back into that. It really has just been a scheduling thing. I've been trying to find a chance to dude, like I said, I'm full of excuses 100%, but
That's okay.
it's very hard to what's the word? It's very hard to get on any, like, if doing this is cool, but then like I have a scramble next week to get that FXR done for the show in Florida.
True.
So now it's like
It's hard.
now I'm doing
I'll do
this,
it
and
too.
then I got
It's not
Thanksgiving,
easy.
and then you know what I mean? It's like it's not the food
And there's
thing.
turkey.
I don't really eat bad, dude. I seriously, like, during lunch, I go home, I make a salad
No.
of like spinach and like things that are good for me. And then at night, I'm cooking fucking awesome steaks. And
Awesome steaks you are. I've
Yeah.
been seeing them. They look great. When I start eating,
should have seen all the A1 sauce I put on.
oh, stop, please. That's so painful. You had to throw that in, didn't
It
you?
was kind of like you couldn't see the meat anymore. It was
Oh
just
my
like this
God.
You were
blanket.
all that red was
almost
covered up.
hell.
Oh,
Almost hell.
oh, Jesus. But when I start just eating slightly better and I'm working out more consistent, I still shed weight like super easy.
Yeah.
And everything.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll go down like a hat size. Do you have any other hats around here? You have one over here? Yeah, like I'll have to go down in a. Whoa, when did you get this? What is this hat? But yeah, I'll have to go down in size. Like I'll lose weight around my head, I swear. Jace, there's something you want to tell us about? What is this? Where did this come from?
Did Kyle?
Kyle who?
Who knows?
Insta having Kyle got him a new.
He might have dropped it off in the middle of the
Yeah.
night. No, he's not here, is he? He didn't
No,
come,
he's
did
not
he?
here. His Indian Challenger is. This is.
That looks like it'll probably fit you though.
Is this yours?
I like that color.
That kind of matches your bike right now, doesn't
What
it?
if I just go get the airbrush and put a barn shield over the top of it?
I mean, you could, I guess. I don't know where it came from. It's the strangest thing.
I felt
You just
like
got
you
Indian
planted it
stuff.
there.
I did no such thing. Why would you think something like that of me? I would never do that.
I was trying to figure out how the fuck your head size goes down when you. I'm like, wait, I'll follow you along this.
What the fuck is this guy talking
Oh
about?
man.
Yeah, it's funny. So, so I spent some time at an event recently, and Indian Motorcycle was there, and I know how much of a huge fan you are of Indian. So they gave me a hat, so I just had to bring it for you.
Harley's making it really hard to be their fan. I mean, I think I was telling you this morning they dropped all their racing programs.
Yep, I've heard about that.
You know, which it's like, fucking help me out, man.
Do that like just when like road racing really peaked, like the young crowd's interest, right?
Yeah.
Like we did King of the Baggers, we did Laguna Seca, right? Like it was awesome. Everyone loved it. I know I paid for
Flat
it to watch
tracking
it.
is still
It was
a thing.
It was the night. It was my engagement party
Uh-huh.
that night, and all the guys were sitting around my TV watching it. With
Hell
me.
yeah.
Yeah. So like even with all that going on, we had family there and everything. We all stopped to watch that because it was just. It felt like so historic to see that happen, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was loving it. Everyone was talking about it weeks leading up, even weeks after.
Dude, I felt like it was talked about, and I knew it was going to take place. But then, like the 2 or 3 days before, they did a good job putting that out there because the buzz was fucking around. We
It was
had a
everything.
shot party there
Yeah.
to watch it up here, and I loved it, man. It was awesome seeing that. And I had a friend in the race that I was really proud to see him because he was one of the dudes that I think is one of the Shred Moto. I think he's
Tony,
really
right?
Tony. Yeah, he's one of the, I guess I would say pioneers. I could be wrong, but I think he's one of the pioneers of the whole track days on Harley's kind of movement that's been going on. You know, with him and Jiffy Tune, those guys out there.
Yep. Yeah.
So seeing those guys out there doing it was badass. But then for us though, like the performance bagger guys, you know, it felt weird that this thing that's kind of started in California, it hasn't quite taken off in California as it has the Midwest to the East, right?
Yeah.
Performance baggers, like all the dudes, all the names in it, like are out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, you know, I'm not saying there's not performance baggers out there and not saying it didn't come from California.
No.
But for some reason, everybody that's big in it is out here. You know what I mean? And so I would like to have seen, I don't know. It's weird when you're a part of a scene from its kind of conception or inception, or what would it be?
Conception.
And see it starting to go somewhere, and then see the corporate world start to pick it up, and then
That's exciting, right?
it is exciting.
Yeah.
But there's like things that they do that piss me off. It's like they don't have any care or knowledge about what's been going on. So they're like, oh, this shop is, you know, they are really leading the industry of performance baggers. And like, they just came on board. They don't even have parts yet.
It's true. And it would be nice to see them be able to display some of those people that are in the industry,
Yeah.
really like feeding into that scene and really helping it take off and helping more people get into it.
It's so easy to know who's who and what's what in any scene these days simply by you. It would take an entry-level marketer a fucking shit break to go through
30
Instagram
minutes.
and find out who's who in what scene, right? Who's the Dyna King right now? Who's the guys that are just putting Dyna content out? Who's the performance bad guys? Who's killing it in the chopper game? It's easy to find. You just
It's true.
gotta look.
Well, and I mean, maybe that wasn't their
They're,
biggest focus during this round.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, not
And
to
that's
take away
fair.
from them.
Yeah. However, I still really thoroughly enjoyed it.
I did too. It
And
was
so I'm really looking
especially.
forward to
I mean,
future
I
endeavors
was
with
more like at a point where I was like, I just didn't want Indian win, so I didn't have to hear people's shit.
it. Me too.
And so finally, like, I feel like they let the Harley win in the middle. The other one's like, this would be a good podium finish.
We'll slow down. Yeah, it was really exciting. It was really
I dug
exciting.
it,
There was
yeah.
a lot of really good, really talented riders out there. It was cool to see some of the people in the industry that, you know, like we just discussed, that have been like so crucial, and get to see those people build bikes for it and have their parts in it. So I'm really looking forward to see what comes out of it.
I think that Saddleman bike really set the bar for going forward. Like, I've already got ideas of how I want to customize my new thing on the bike in using some of the design cues I saw with that bike. You know what I mean? But I am really disappointed that it wasn't nowhere in the crowd of the bikes. It's like it was like a bike that had everything that should have been the front, but it was like, I don't know, they could have put a real rider on it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Apparently the guy
riders
is a
still
good
love those.
rider. The guy that built it rode it, and apparently he's a good rider. But for some reason, you know, like, you couldn't get one of the other MotoGP guys out there. Like,
I really think it was a rider. It was a rider race there.
Yeah.
I mean, all the bikes were really well built. You know, like they were all amazing pieces of machinery.
dude,
But
seeing that Harley just kind of slide out a little bit as he's coming
Yeah.
in the corners, I was like,
it was a little
"Ooh,
scary.
making my fucking underwear tight, man." Shit was good.
It was amazing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it develop.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
And so, you know, like going back to where we started in this conversation, Harley, you know, throttling back on like the racing series. I don't know. Me, just as a patron, I would like to see them continue involvement and support and all those things.
There's just so much. You know, these corporations are just on such a political. They put themselves in a space that they don't need to be. Like, I literally could care less. I could care less. I'm fucking losing.
just
it. I
continue.
can care less what party this company leans towards. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter. And the people that it does matter to don't buy your products. I don't think, unless you.
I'm
do
concerned about motorcycles
Exactly.
and motorcycle parties.
Motorcycle parties. That's what's up.
And motorcycle hood rides.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not something that I believe really needs to be super focused in on the motorcycle community. And like you said, it
It's a
kind
good
of
escape from it. to be
it
honest
muddies
with
the
you.
water.
Yeah.
You know, like we don't need that type of involvement. And that's just strictly myself speaking.
Yeah, like I said, I try to steer clear of those conversations and stuff. You know, it's been a crazy year.
That it has.
It's crazy. You know, I think I made a post a day or two ago. This has been a wild year, but one of my best. I've
It
traveled.
has been really good for the motorcycle industry across the board,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You can be well within 6 feet away from people, and you can have a mask on the entire time you ride a motorcycle. So
Yeah.
life's easy, right? Yeah, but a lot of people got to travel, right? Because everyone was teleworking.
Yeah.
So it was easy.
Teleworking.
Teleworking, working remotely.
Sucks when you're a blue collar worker and you're like, fuck, I can't take this home and work.
Still got to go to a factory, right? Still got to stamp steel or the middle of the country guys are doing.
But I'm glad that things are, you know, that it does worry me though with all the influx of money that came into the economy, if that's going to really, which I think statistically it'll screw us up in a couple of years with the inflation.
Historically, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what we've seen in the past.
So I hope we don't end up getting like a good year now, but then it's going to be a slow decline to like a real fucking recession or a real depression, basically.
Yeah, let's hope we're still trending upwards.
Yeah, for
We'll
sure.
Just keep trending upwards.
Yeah, motorcycles, man. They've been good to me this year.
Yeah, they've been good across the industry.
When we
Everyone's,
were
doing
getting
well.
when we were getting ready to do the Fast Life Camp out this year, it was 3 weeks after the quarantine started.
Yep, that's
And
very true.
I saw a lot of companies like starting to play the political, not necessarily the political card, but like, we're staying home and wearing masks. We're not going to this event, like, to like, I guess virtue signal is the way it is. Like, we're doing the right thing. And I was like, man, like even if like I kind of throttled back on promoting it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want anybody going, you're still going to do this despite all the stuff going on in the world. I throttled that back so I didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
But like on the podcast, like, yeah, we're still doing this. It's still happening.
Well,
And
look, we told people early on as well, like, we stayed inside our office and we shipped orders and we took every precaution that we possibly could and made sure that we were being safe. But we still attended those events.
Yeah.
We still went out and interacted with the public. We did those things to show the community that we'll support them no matter what. We just did it as safe as we possibly could.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the point. Is you have to continue to put. It just sucks that like IMS is not happening, AIM isn't happening, SEMA didn't happen this year, and I understand why. I mean they're indoor events that are going to be gathering a lot of people and like that, but like maybe these smaller events like what we're doing, what East Coastin does, like it's our time. It's our time to shine. You know what I mean? Like
It's a
these
good
smaller
time for
events.
them to go from small to really big, right?
Yeah.
I mean, East Coastin was
Yeah,
massive.
I think that a lot of events
Massive.
like that this year was times 10 because
Yeah.
of the lack of other things people could do, and people, tired of being cooped up or not being able to go do motorcycle things with their motorcycle friends.
Exactly. I mean,
So-
that's what we're here to do. So
For sure.
all
So-
in all, we've been happy with it.
Other than like this product, what else? We have the wireless charger. That's been a thing.
Yeah. So the Lexin WPC wireless charger. You guys can check it out on our website and stuff like that. But so it's a wireless charging plate that goes over the center of your Ram X grip.
Every time I see wireless chargers in the wild, I'm like, that's technology. They're transferring
yeah.
electricity
Yep.
through things that aren't
This is the future.
conductive.
Yep. The future is now, old man. We yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Oonga boonga.
We've had our director has a relationship with Ram mounts, and I've been a Ram mount user since day one. Just my first cell phone mount that I bought was a Ram mount, and I've always enjoyed it. It's always worked really well for me. Lots of people I know use them, and so we base it off that concept, working in conjunction with their mount system. It has a battery tender style connector on it, so you can just plug it right into your existing battery tender, and it'll wirelessly charge any phone with QI charging capabilities on it, which is really nice, right? Because when you get on the road and you're traveling and you have your Bluetooth on to listen to music through your headset, and then you have your GPS on, right? And then maybe your location sharing with someone else so they can track where you're going and stuff like that. All of a sudden, your battery just keeps going down and down.
Yeah.
And if you're traveling, you need that phone, right? Like, we're all glued to our phones.
Yeah,
It's a supercomputer. You need it. It does your banking, it does everything, right? So having that phone charging at all times is just...
Yeah, and it's easy
Godsend.
too because you don't have like shit hanging off if you want to do some influencer shit on the road. You don't have to unplug it. You just pull it off and like get your shots.
Yeah.
And
it is nice.
Keep it rolling.
Yeah, and you don't have cords hanging out all over the place.
Yeah.
It works very well. So we're very proud of it. We have it on our website by itself. We also have it bundled with a Ram X grip. So if you don't have one, you can pick those up.
But also like like for me on a bagger, like we have the USB thing to plug it in.
Yeah.
But what's cool about it on a bagger is like I can keep, because when I plug it in, it becomes a part of the radio system on my bike.
Yep.
And with that charger that way, it just charges.
Yep.
So I don't have to like constantly like connect back and forth between my radio on the bike and the headset. So it's like a little bit easier to, it's a quicker startup and get rolling.
Exactly, and that's really what it's about, right? Because like you remember the day where like people used to wear like earbuds inside their helmet, right?
Yeah.
And like you'd have a group of dudes. It happens all the time. You're at a gas stations. Everyone's getting ready to go, And then one dude is trying to put headphones in. He's pulling his helmet on. He's trying to get his gloves on really fast and everything. So it just slows people down, right? And same thing with like charging. Whether you have like a wire ran all the way up from your battery that you can plug your phone into, whatever the case may be. Now, the cell phone mount that you were already going to put your phone in will wirelessly charge your phone.
Yeah, works out well.
It's just simple. It's just a good solution to that problem.
And these things are the G16s are going to be dropping on Black Friday.
On Black Friday,
That's the concept.
They may come out a few hours early. They may come out Thanksgiving night.
Nice.
But on or about
When
Friday.
you're sitting there bored.
Yeah,
like, make some purchases.
Yeah,
now.
exactly. When we feel like turning it on. But no, it's on or about Black Friday. They'll be available for sale, single packs, dual packs, accessory kits as well.
And connecting with other riders is pretty quick on this thing, right?
Yeah, so it's a different design. We won't go into it too deep here, but it's a different linking system, or pairing system, rather.
There you can see it.
Different pairing system versus the FT4 lineup. So pairing 6, 10, 12 riders together is a much easier task to accomplish. Whether it's on the side of the road or all you guys are sitting in your house doing it, it's a lot easier to achieve. And so that's what we want to focus on. We want to focus on that group riding aspect.
It doesn't have the trim light on it, though, does it?
It does not.
Okay.
It does not.
I like LEDs.
Yeah. You know what? That was actually one of my favorite things, too. But we wanted to keep it slim, pack everything in that we could. We ended up removing that. But, like, I'll power it on really quick here. And you can see, so the headlamp button is in back now. And this headlamp is super bright. Super bright. How's that look on the camera over there? It's super bright. So it's pretty cool. It works very well. When we first got our samples to start doing our R&D on them, I was riding and I turned it on, and it was during the day, and I turned it on and like looked down at my dash, and it was like blinding me coming back off my windshield. Like, it was so bright. And yeah,
that's real helpful too, like especially like when you're at night and riding and you fucking something's on your bike.
There's so many different scenarios, but just the idea of being able to use a flashlight.
I think it's good for like when you're setting up your tent in the middle of a campground.
Yeah, going through your saddlebags, right? Or like getting in through your front door, and your front porch light's burnt out. You need to put your key in the door, right? Like any of those basic little things. It's just nice to have that there. And it also works as an SOS. So I think we've talked about that before, right? So worst case scenario, we know it happens. We've all heard about someone that's happened to. You go down, you're laying in a ditch, can't find your cell phone, whatever the case may be. If your cell phone is still connected to your unit, whether it's an FT4 Pro or a G16, you can hold down a button and it'll go into SOS mode. It'll strobe SOS on the headlamp and it'll call 911 for you. So just as riders, we know that these things, they don't happen all the time, but they do happen to people. And if we can add an additional layer of safety in there, why wouldn't we?
Sometimes, like on the FT4 Pro, like I said, I don't know what every button does, and I just know how to play music. And I've called the cops like 3 times before.
Yeah, that could happen. That's 911. You held down the SOS mode in there.
So, well, cool, man. So we're gonna go do this hood ride. We got a packed day here. You know what I mean?
It's going to be super busy, but we're excited. We're excited to get out there and see people. We got some cool stuff to give away.
Hopefully we can. I've been spending like an hour a day practicing editing video.
Yeah.
So hopefully between I can capture some content that I can at least post.
Yeah.
That will be like decent. Maybe not like a full 30-minute video of this, but like if I can get like 30 seconds to an hour. 30 seconds to an hour.
That was a
30
big gap.
seconds to
30
a minute
seconds to an
of like some kind of footage that looks cool. Then I definitely am stoked about posting that.
59 seconds, right?
Yep.
That's what 59 seconds for Instagram, and then like a minute 30. Those are the magic numbers, apparently.
So cool.
I think you'll be able to do it. So it was great, man. Thanks for having us here.
Lexin-Moto.com, offer code FASTLIFE.
15% off. Yep. That'll never stop.
Cool. All right, let's go ride, Mark.
All right. Sounds good.
I think Scott should be pulling up any